Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you guys haven't done so already, please hit that subscribe button and then enjoy the rest of the clips. So for today, this is day 3 of my installation of my spinny old boy, aka the Paxtron Supercharger. So today, since it's day 3, I've done majority of the installation. Oh, what's up, man? So all that's left is really I have to finish up the piping, which right now this is all loose because the issue I have to figure out is how I'm gonna run this little inlet right here to my ported GT350 throttle body. This right here is, of course, being the GT350, has the outside diameter being 87 millimeters, while the stock is a standard 80 mil. So there's a huge difference, especially with this fitting. I'm gonna see if I can even stretch this because this seems very stretchable, but that's one issue I have to figure out. But other than that, my other plans for today to finish up the whole installation is putting in the injectors. Due to me having a different manifold, I'm gonna have to basically take off my Boss 302 because the fuel rails do go underneath the Boss, which kind of sucks and really is gonna be a pain in the butt. But if you haven't seen my previous video, to remove a manifold isn't that difficult on this, it's just time consuming. So I'm gonna have to remove it, install my 56-pound injectors, and then due to the injectors being much smaller, I do have to put in these adapters, which I'll be showing you. I just have to swap the ones that are currently on my car. I don't know if you can kind of see it down there, little silver rod. That's the adapter I'm gonna be putting in. I'm gonna be installing a much smaller one since my injectors again are a lot smaller, well, in lengthwise, but overall the amount of fuel it can pump is actually much greater than my standard 47-pound that I have in already. But once I finish up that, all I have to do is, again, tighten up for the piping, figure out this issue, hook up the MAF sensor that is currently loose, but it's already right here, and upload the tune, and she should be ready to go. Let's get cracking, and hopefully we can finish it up real quick. I really want to see this thing up on the street. And comment if you guys think this is a good idea. Since I already have the GT350 front end already off, I'm thinking about, for my whole data log situation, when I have to take it on the street, I'm thinking of just removing the hood and running it just how it is, just like this, and kind of get like a reaction video, and hopefully I can catch some people and just see how they'll react. I'm seeing a whole freaking front end of a car naked, plus with a huge blow-off valve. This thing's gonna catch massive attention. But let me know if I should do that and try it. Let's get started on this part 3 of the install. The first step needed in order to remove the Boss 302 manifold, or any manifold on these S550s, is you're gonna want to remove the fuel line right here. So all you're gonna have to do is just lift up this blue tab, and then this, just pull it out. But I do recommend you get a rag, because when you pull it out, oh, in the face. But yeah, this thing squirts, and like, as you guys saw, this thing squirts some fuel. Oh, I got that in my mouth. That's disgusting. But yeah, this is removed. You hit these bolts right here. There's 2 on each side that does hold down the little cover that covers up the fuel rail. Then the 2 bottom bolts that actually retain the fuel rail itself will be shown. And then you have to loosen up those bolts, and yeah, as you guys right here, these bolts are exactly what I'm talking about. The top one, and then these bottom ones right here. And then there's like 3 other bolts that I'll be showing you guys momentarily that you remove, and then out goes the manifold. It's plain and simple. Besides just removing those easy bolts, you just gotta unplug all the vacuum hoses and just remember the order that you did it. It's not too complicated, but let me just do it real quick.
Almost impossible to do, describing it. It's true.
Now I got the whole bypass valve connection right here. That's all that's holding it out. There goes that one. Boom, out she goes. Now it's time. Boom. Okay, so what I was saying about the Boss right here is, you guys can see this little divot. It's perfectly placed for these rails, which also make it a pain in the butt to remove. So all you gotta do is lift up, because the seals are now keeping the injectors in place. See right here, gotta lift up, and I gotta go down perfectly. And then doing this inside the car is a real pain in the butt. And honestly, I don't think there's any way to do it, especially since I have a fat twirly old boy up in there. So get the injectors out. Okay, so for those who have never removed some injectors before or changed them or such, well, with this type of fuel rail or some like retainer clips like this, all you gotta do is really just get a flathead and then go around. This little like lip thing right here, it kind of just fits perfectly and locks it in. And then the injectors do have a little like groove which get hugged by this. So once you do that, you just lift it, oop, or do that, one of the two. Boom, out goes the little seal. It's not ripped, so chill. So since these are a smaller one, this right here goes into the manifolds as such, and I don't know if you can kind of see the difference in the height, but yeah, that's all you got to do for if you want to run a smaller one, or even they make an adapter where it kind of heightens it up a little. But this is what I'm going to be doing, and all you have to do is grab some vice grips, or well, wrap it first and then grab some vice grips and just yank it out, and she should come out pretty smoothly, and just replace it with a new one. Okay, so I just finished up the whole injector install. All the retainer clips are in. Again, not that bad. I've done that 50 million times, but I've never done this before, especially when dealing with aluminum. Quick little tip for those who don't want to scratch aluminum or anything, what you want to do is wrap the item around, and then in this case I'm gonna be using some vice grips to grab it and really yank it. But if you wrap it with some type of like cloth or something, you won't leave a divot or any of the grooves from the vice grip, which you can kind of tell which you can kind of tell that this guy didn't, because he left a groove like right here and like right here. So that's a little downside, but honestly, as long as it runs, I don't really care. Especially, I mean, no one's gonna really see these at all. Like earlier when I was showing you in there, you couldn't really tell that these things are even here. So what you want to do is just wrap it, and then you get this bad girl up in here. Okay, so I have hold of it. It might look like I'm slipping, but right here the piece itself is moving. So now I just got to pull up, and oh, it's already slowly coming. So if I just wiggle it back and forth, out she comes like that. Okay, so all four of these little like smaller adapter plates or spacer plates, whatever the hell you want to call them, go ahead. And then all of them are on. Now it's time for the mating process. So you got to go down low and work your way in. This way it is a little difficult, because I remember when I first got the Boss, I tried putting these things on here, and I spent like a solid like 40 minutes trying to figure out why they didn't line up. And I kind of got upset because I was like, man, they don't fit and this doesn't work, you know. But I quickly realized that it goes down here. But yeah, so you put them on and you push down a little. The little rubber O-rings that go around, those are kind of like, keep the fuel from leaking out and such. But also they keep them kind of stationary before when putting them inside. If you have them all loose, they might shift, and well, I mean, like, I don't know, I just do it either way, so don't judge me. Ooh, yeah, let's put this bad girl in. So before I put this in, keep in mind, always clean your ports right here. So these little dirty areas, see these little oil marks right here? You don't want to wipe those. You want a clean surface and ensure your gasket seats properly. Ooh, pour it in the head sometime? Oh, I don't know. I gotta try it. Who knows? But always clean the port, because this can lead to a vacuum leak, which require you to go and remove everything, well, redo everything, which would suck, and you don't really want to do that. Okay, so let's pick you up. Let's kind of lower you. Freaking injectors are in the way. Damn it. Well, injector plugs. Don't really want these up. Damn it. Okay, this was in the way. Everything's just not going the way it should. Darn, I was trying to finish this thing in 5 minutes. Said every car guy ever. The simplest mods end up turning into the world's most headache. Especially like if anyone has done like if anyone has done any like of the vertical links and such, you know what I'm talking about. And the worst person to ever look up is the good old fella CJ Pony. Like, that guy knows what he's doing. He knows what he's doing a little too well. Finishes a whole freaking Supercharge install in like 5 minutes and tells you You know what? It's not that bad, y'all. Just go ahead. Just all you're gonna need is just a flathead, and everything will go in nice and easily. Okay, so the whole manifold and the swapping of all the injectors is now done. It's like I said before, it's kind of time consuming, but it's not that bad. Everything's looking nice and clean. Again, she's looking like a nice little bad girl. Look at you. Ooh, can't wait to turn this one and just hear it ripping. So to give you guys a little pointer, since I'm going to be running the GT350 throttle body, an issue that I had was the spacer that was supplied in this kit. It was too big, and it caused the clearance issue, as I said in my previous video, which I had like kind of marked this because I was getting ready to grind this. But someone gave me a good pointer that if I was to grind this, there's like a little clip like in here that does just hold the shaft that keeps the little like blade inside straight and keeps it from going all willy-nilly. So I didn't nick it. Instead, I used the ported throttle body that I had on, well, throttle body spacer that I had on before, because it gave me enough clearance because it was much smaller, as you guys can tell, which gave me this little clearance that I needed. So I'm now able to run my ported GT350 throttle body, which is kind of nice. Here goes a little AirPod little cover that I had on by Edelbrook that I said in my my first video when I bought it. I got it all fit perfectly. I had to cut this little area and made a little divot for some air to even go straight into it. The reason why I did this, because I'm gonna end up putting like these little like tube things right here that people use for like the track, but they tend to shoot them towards their brakes to cool them down. But instead of using it for my brakes, I'm gonna have them kind of going down and then literally shooting air into this. Same with this side. Since I'm no longer using this, and I didn't put those plastic shrouds because I'm gonna end up putting these things here, which are gonna funnel air straight into like this thing, like the J3. With that said, I do have one more issue before I turn this on, and it's the fitting of this onto the GT350 throttle body, because this piece right here is designed for the stock throttle body, which is, as you guys can see, is already a tight fit, and this thing is only 80 millimeters. This thing is 87, which to put it in perspective, let me move this out of the way, put that right there. This thing, okay, first you see the clearance, see how like tight this thing is? This thing is wrapped around pretty well. And then look at this one. See how I can move this? I don't want to hit the supercharger too much, but see how I can move this around? So I'm hoping that I'll be able to stretch this thing over it, and but let's see that. Man, my plan B, if that does not work, is I do have my old CNL intake that I'm gonna be maybe modifying if this doesn't work. So what I'm gonna be doing is putting this like right here. Well, fine. Okay, well, yeah, seeing how this goes, it's not really gonna line up anymore. This was just a theory in my head. I was hoping that this thing, oh wait, scratch that, my bad. I was gonna put this, like hook this in right here, and then this should be almost around the same size, but by looking at it, I don't think it is. Shoot, well, I'm gonna mess around with it, but I'm gonna get this thing to fit, and let me mess around with it. So what I'm gonna be doing is, since this tube right here is the inside diameter is like 3 inches, which is set for like the 80 millimeter throttle body, the stock one of course, and then mine's way too big. This is like a 4.2 inch open diameter, so there's a huge difference. So what I'm gonna be doing, since my rubber piece, like I showed earlier, it can fit inside, so I'm gonna be sacrificing my CNL intake. If anyone wants a PMOS, I have mine for sale, just putting it out there. But what I'm gonna be doing, since this wrapped around, I'm gonna be making a cut right here, which would allow me to put a clamp on this side and tighten the hell out of this, but also at the same time would allow me to put it into my throttle body, go into this clamp right here, and allow me to tighten it, making a reducer. And that's for the meantime, because I want to get it started. Okay, so here we go. Everything's nice and clean. Now, this is what I was talking about. Kazam. Gotta go up here. Give me some more room over there. Come on. Actually, before I even do that, where's the piece at? Right there. Just want to grab it. I lowered the MAF sensor even lower. Plug her in. Like that. Plug in. The reason why I did this, because like if you look from this perspective, it looks like I don't even have a single thing. So I think it looks pretty cool. And I didn't want to go any lower because I wanted to give myself room if I have to do anything with my radiator. Well, with this hose, I can put something down here to pinch it and not risk damaging this. So let me put this sucker in and I should be done. Okay, so my idea is I took this part off of course, my broken Cobra. Rest in peace. The only like, I don't know, short period of time I had it. But I'm gonna slip it on like that. Give myself a little breather because the vacuum line over here will no longer work. So I can no longer run a driver's side oil catch can, which I mean it caught a little bit. There's no need for this. The one that's more crucial is this side. I'm just doing the final button up touches to make sure everything's working all nice and smooth. Well, everything's gonna work nice and smooth. So all the bands on everywhere is all tightened up. All the injectors are on. Everything's hooked up, batteries hooked up again. This thing's good. The hose to the bypass valve is hooked up over here, which goes to my booster pump straight behind the throttle body, because I do not have the IMRC plates, so the whole pattern of it can't really work. I have that thing's on, MAF sensor. Overall, I think everything's ready. Let's fire up. Okay, so here goes moment of truth. We're gonna be testing this whole thing. First start for this monster. So before I even turn on everything, since I'm already here, I'm gonna be data logging my car. Well, I guess I need a newer update for it, so I'm gonna let this update, and honestly I'm gonna do the data log another time, I guess, because I want to hear this sucker on. So I'm gonna just let this thing just freaking finish uploading, I guess. God, I thought it was up to date, but guess it wasn't. But let's get this bad boy up and running. So here goes the first start ever. Don't roast me because I'm freaking low on gas. Remember my last video I had an issue with my rear shocks? There was no point in me putting in gas, but let's do it. She started up. Sounds vicious right now. I love it. I love it. Woo. Everything seems pretty fine as of right now. The cylinder head temp is at 124. I'm letting this thing warm up, but something I kind of want to do. I love it. Listen to that. Oh, you can't beat that. Remember, I am on a baseline tune, so I'm not going above 3 grand. That's only at 3 grand. I love the sound of that bypass valve. Whew. And just like that, that's gonna be the end of this video. You can see I'm hyped as hell. This thing sounds vicious. All that hard work and all that time that I was spending on fixing this thing up, I just gotta say, it's well worth it. And comment if you guys think that blow-off valve sounds nice, dude. And I can still adjust that, but I just gotta figure out what I'm gonna set it to. The guy previously had it set to blow off at like 2500, I think. So I just gotta manipulate it, look more into it, but I really like the sound of it. Ooh, I'm so pumped. Woo! But still have a huge smile on my face. But please like and subscribe and stay tuned for my next video. See ya.